primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and I'm about to show you my guide to building a Darth Vader deck at your future pre-release or sealed event. First, we need to talk about what Darth Vader can do, and then we can talk about the cards I think that pair well with him across all the different aspects of Star Wars Unlimited. So when Darth Vader is a leader unit, meaning after you deploy him, he's a 5/8 unit with on-attack abilities that he can deal 2 damage to a unit in any arena. That means space, ground, yours, or any of your opponent's units. He costs 7, meaning you have to have 7 resources available in order for you to deploy him. You do not have to exhaust these 7 resources, you just need to have them available. Now, when Vader is not a leader unit in play, he sits in the leader zone, and his ability is an action where you can pay 1, exhaust him, and if you played a black aspect card this phase, deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a base. So, we know what we're looking for. We're looking for cards that can benefit us, that are low cost, so we can use Vader's ability without slowing ourselves down, and we want them to have the villain aspect so we can really take advantage of stuff. Because Vader cost is 7 resources, our aim is to kind of get him out earlier, and we want to focus on that as our overall theme at any pre-release or sealed event. So let's take a look at what leader aspect cards really work with Vader. The first one's going to be Fifth Brother. So Fifth Brother here is a 3-cost unit that has the ability of, it gains raid 1 for every damage it has on it, and it swings at a 2. The more damage he takes, the more damage he can do. At most, he can do 5 damage himself before he dies. He's also a force unit, and that's going to come into play later because Vader and him both sharing that trait means you're going to have some options to some cards that need to see force users in play. On attack, he can deal 1 damage to himself to deal 1 damage to a ground unit, allowing you to maximize the amount of damage that's going around the board and hopefully help you kill some units with some multiple actions. Next is the First Legion Snow Trooper. Because Vader has the ability of damaging a unit, the First Legion Snow Trooper pairs well with him. As long as the Snow Trooper is attacking a damaged unit, he can get a +2/+0 and Overwhelm, meaning any attack that goes over that unit's health is going to go straight to the base. Lastly is Ruthless Raider. With the ability to deal 2 damage to a base and 2 damage to a unit when it enters play and leaves play, it kind of fits what you're already doing with Vader. Direct damage while also hitting units. You're going to be overwhelming your opponents with the amount of damage you're spacing across the board, and they're going to have to really rethink their strategies and what units they expect to survive. Ruthless Raider does cost 6, but with a card like Vader costing you 7 to hit the deploy mechanic, you're pretty much going to want to take advantage of some of these later to mid-game plays. Next is going to be the villain aspect. Snow Trooper Lieutenant just works. Play it on Vader, play it on another Imperial unit. Someone's going to go that turn and attack and get a +2/+0. It's a great fitting card, and it has the black aspect icon, which is what we need to trigger Vader. Next is the ATST. Another great card that you see paired well with Vader. It's 6 cost, has the Overwhelm ability, and still allows you to trigger his leadership ability. Last is the Cell Block Guard. 3-cost unit with Sentinel, has 3 health, 3 defense. It's a good one to buy you the time you're going to need. When we look at the aggression aspect, I want to focus on these 3 cards specifically. There's some great ones out there that pair well with Vader. But for commons and uncommons, these can kind of give you the edge you're looking for. One is Force Throw. As long as you have a Force unit in play, Vader, Fifth Brother, Seventh Sister, Palpatine, you can take advantage of this type of card. So you choose a player, preferably your opponent, and they discard a card from their hand. Then if you control a Force unit, like one of the ones I just mentioned, you can deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the discarded card. This is great at removing cards from your opponent while also doing damage to the units in play. You may have just taken out 2 cards with just 1 resource. It does require a little bit of setup, but it's a great card that's probably going to get past that you're going to see, and most people won't expect it. Next is the Occupier Siege Tank. It's an Imperial tank with grit, so it gets stronger the more damage that's on it, and it's just going to kind of allow you a little bit more of that low-level firepower that you may need in your ground arena. Next is Open Fire, a great 3-cost event, that's going to deal 4 damage to any unit. This should be able to keep the board clear, which is what you need before Vader comes out. Keeping your board clear of all opponents' units is going to be really important because you want Vader to have some room to swing. When he does come into play, the less units that are available, the more you can take advantage of his high hitting power. In the Vigilance Blue aspect, we're looking at a few cards that go across the spectrum here. We have Inferno 4, which fits in our space arena. It has an ability when it plays and when it dies to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. This can be important when you're trying to get the right cards you need to handle the situation that Vader is in, whether it's early game protection or it's late game just trying to take care of some units that are running, like giving you problems. Next is Power of the Dark Side. This card doesn't deal damage to anyone, but it does force your opponent to sacrifice one of their units, and it goes to the discard pile. If your opponent only has 1 unit and it's stronger than Vader, this is the perfect card you were hoping for. Nothing says goodbye Palpatine like Power of the Dark Side. And last is Takedown. If you're dealing small points of damage to some of these big units, Takedown's going to let you take advantage of that and destroy them immediately as long as they have 5 or less remaining HP. This does include leaders, which is why I pick it over other cards in the set. Next is green. Now, green is the strongest color right now for Vader. And you can see why in the first card. Super Laser Technician, when it dies, you have the ability of immediately putting it into your resource pile and readying it. As long as you can get 2 or 3 Super Laser Technicians, you have a great chance of playing Vader 2 turns early, because Vader can use his own ability to kill the Technician at any point with that 1 point of health. Next, Overwhelming Barrage, a card that makes Vader seem more terrifying than he really is. It's a great card that allows you to clear the board of low-cost units or low-health units that you've been damaging throughout the game. This can really even out your current board state, or it can get you ahead. And last is the Seasoned Shore Trooper. With Vader needing 7 resources to deploy, your ability to ramp up to 7 resources quicker than your opponent means your Seasoned Shore Trooper is going to become a 4-3 really quick. With that low cost, it gives you a couple other options of things you can play, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun with a card like that. Last is the Cunning Yellow aspect. Here we see a mix of a couple things. 7th Fleet Defender and ISB Agent are both going to be Imperial cards that do you really well. With Vader, you should be running some events that are going to help you, clear the board a bit. So ISB Agent's going to help you do that, as well as continue to deal 1 damage to units. Damage units is going to be important. Bib Fortuna, however, right here in the middle, is a little bit different. He's not an Imperial unit. He does have the black aspect symbol, which is always vital for the units you're pairing with Vader, and he comes in with a shield to protect himself. As an action, he can play an event from your hand, and it costs 1 less. Well, making a 1-cost event cost 0 sounds great. Playing Overwhelming Barrage a turn early also sounds great. Or if you get some other cards like Resupply. Again, events should be used to kind of take out most of your opponent's units, or get you further ahead so you can put Vader into play and let him start using his on-attack abilities. This is my guide to your Vader pre-release or sealed deck. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have fun with it, and may the Force be with you.